Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining our exciting webinar. To introduce myself, I'm Leon from Preferred Solutions. The theme for today's webinar is how your finance and sales teams can nail targets together, and we will share and tell you more just about that. Preferred Solutions, as a leading Sage business partner in South Africa, has been working with Skynamo for the past 2 years, and we recommend their product with highest confidence. Skynamo is an innovative mobile solution integrating with Sage software, and it's focused on companies with sales functions and sales reps, but it can be adapted and used in many more ways. Today's focus will be on how using Skynamo can enable your sales and finance teams to reach targets quicker and easier, and thereby increase your company's cash flow. I think that it will be a welcome result for any company. Preferred Solutions does not just promote and sell Skynamo. We are using it with great success in our own company. A short testimonial will be given on this later in the webinar. Your speaker for today will be Candice Garrity and Amanda Moore, both from Skynamo, as well as Johan Marie from Preferred Solutions. For those of you who are not familiar with Preferred Solutions, let me give you a short introduction. Preferred Solutions has been providing accounting and payroll software sales and support since 1991. That is nearly 30 years of dedication to our valued clients. Our active client base exceeds 6,000 companies. We service all types of industries, from one-man operations to large corporates, providing a custom-fit solution to their unique needs. Between our staff, we have more than 150 professional accounting years in experience. Our consulting team has an average of 7 years experience per individual, which means that you are in great hands when we help you. As technology develops and evolves, we have invested a lot of time and effort into finding the correct products and solutions for the new digital age to ensure your business is future-proof. One of these great solutions is Skynamo, which we will be focusing on today. During and after the presentation, should you have any product or pricing inquiries, please contact Alicia Tritter at Preferred Solutions. Her email address is alicia@prefsol.co.za. Her contact details will also be provided at the end of the session. I trust you will find the session highly informative and helpful. I'm giving over to Candice to start off with the agenda for the session. Candice, over to you.
Thank you so much, Leon, and thank you to everybody that's made the time to be with us here this morning. We're excited to take you through a little bit more about Skynamo, and we're going to do that by taking you on a journey that you're likely to be familiar with, and having made the right move with your accounting ERP system and choosing Preferred Solutions as your preferred partner. We're going to have a look at what's often looked at as the missing last mile and how taking the next step in integration can close that gap for you. We're going to look at the Skynamo solution in more detail and talk about how that can help you nail it as a team to get your finance and sales teams working together and as an extension of each other. I'm going to hand over now to Amanda, who will take you through a little bit more about Skynamo and those pain points you often face.
Thanks, Candice, and thanks, Leon. Good morning, everybody. So to tell you a little bit about Skynamo, we're going to start off with a bit of who we are and where we've come from. We're a proudly South African company born out of Stellenbosch about 8 years ago, and this is where our head office resides today. Some of you may be familiar with a press release that we communicated earlier this year with some of our exciting news about the investment that we secured from 5 Elms Capital based in the US. That investment was of $30 million US, and this is to accelerate our growth across all departments and expand our international footprint. So for the year of 2020 so far, and despite COVID, we have been going about a mission of sort of embarking on a journey of achieving this. And we have grown now to the point where our offices, we have local offices not only in Joburg, KZN, and the Cape, but now also in London and Atlanta. We've recently celebrated our 100th employee, and there's definitely more still coming. So each month, Skynamo manages about 3 million customer relationships, about 2 million products, and 130,000 orders worth over $70 million are captured every single month. There are close to 500,000 customer visits that are managed per month. So to give you a bit more on the offering itself, for those who aren't familiar with Skynamo, it's a mobile platform designed predominantly for manufacturers, wholesalers, and distributors. It's a field sales mobility solution designed to enhance sales by supporting the roles of both the sales managers as well as the field sales reps. Behind the scenes, Skynamo integrates with most ERP systems, allowing for information and data to flow seamlessly and thereby delivering an excellent customer experience whilst supporting your sales teams with this app being mobile in the palm of their hands while out in the field. Beyond our software, we have a team of dedicated customer success managers to support your journey with Skynamo, and we believe that by focusing on all-round functionality for field sales organizations, Skynamo provides the best in-field experience. I joined Skynamo at the beginning of this year, and I head up the sales teams for Skynamo Africa and Pacifics. I've got two fantastic teams where one is dedicated to bringing in our new customers and the other is dedicated to looking after our existing customer base. So let's now get into the link between Skynamo and your ERP. In a typical environment, if you're a CFO or a financial manager, I'm sure you've realized that Preferred Solutions is the ideal strategic partner for your business, and you've probably already made the right move by investing in your ERP, which has likely consumed a lot of resources to get all these various parts of your business working together in a smooth and efficient manner. You're likely using your ERP for managing production operations, customer management, logistics, distribution, finance, and possibly even HR. Although you've invested in these parts of your business, the one part of your business that's often overlooked is the access that your sales team has to this information. Your sales team's a credible voice for your business to customers. They're out there in the field talking to customers, managing accounts, and communicating your latest product offerings and promotions. These are the people that you're relying on to drive your sales, and they're leading the conversations with your customers. A problem they often incur is that they're relying on out-of-date information and manual processes. So I think the question that I would ask you is, how well are you supporting these sales reps, especially considering they play such a pivotal role in the growth or sustainability of your business? So let's have a look at some of the practical implications of this risk in your business. There's definitely the impact on finance. Finance are left dealing with errors around pricing and policies, having to adopt a customer-by-customer approach where they have to spend time understanding what the sales reps have actually sold and for how much. Your sales reps, your teams are disempowered when they're in front of the customers and they have to say these dreaded words, "Let me ask finance and I'll get back to you." In addition to that, what about the data that your sales reps are collecting throughout the week in their when they go about their day-to-day activities? A lot of this data gets lost if it's not captured accurately. What about the time that your sales reps are spending on a Friday collating or adding this data? So something that we see is sales reps spend about a fifth of their time doing admin instead of selling. And imagine what they could be doing with that extra day out in the field. There's a third area of errors to consider, and that's around your actual orders. So not only are you impacting finance and sales, but often there's actual errors on the orders or delays, and sometimes the orders are even cancelled if the communication of stock movement hasn't happened timeously or accurately. And this reliance on manual data entry feels a bit like a penny-wise, pound-foolish approach. And this is what we consider to be the missing last mile, the link between your finance and your sales reps. So I hope we've painted a picture of what to avoid and the typical risks associated to not having a complete solution in place. But now let's imagine a world where there's a better alignment between finance and sales via an integration between your ERP platform and the Skynamo platform. Some of the things you could expect by having this integration would be things such as improved accuracy and lead times to orders, increased sales, improved delivery times, and avoid selling to bad payers. Shortening collection cycle is another additional benefit that you could think about expecting from this integration. So let's talk about what an integrated system might look like. Today, you're using your ERP to manage your business. All the critical information that you need is managed there, like customer info, product details, stock levels, and past invoices. The Sage integration with Skynamo is the bridge. It pushes the necessary information from Sage into Skynamo. We take all of that information and put it directly into the hands of your sales team in the field. Your sales team has access to all of the right information at the right time. Now they have access to the same information that finance has granted them access to see when meeting with the customer. They can now provide customer quotes, they can take orders, log credit requests, and a host of other duties designated by the customized workflow that your team has created. And it all goes back directly into Sage in near real time. And this is the power of Skynamo, where all of those forms, price sheets, product catalogs are made available via a mobile device, all the time, no matter where a rep might be. Wouldn't it be efficient if your sales reps can now leave home and avoid stopping into the office first before beginning their customer visits, knowing that they are up to date on any promotions, customer history, outstanding payments, new pricing, or products? So isn't this a position where you'd rather have your reps to be in? And isn't this a position where your reps would be focusing their efforts on the right activities? On that note, I'm going to hand over to Candice, who's going to take us into some further detail.
Thanks so much, Amanda. So let's take a closer look on the solution that you'd essentially be giving your reps in this perfect world that Amanda's just taken you through. So they'd be able to have direct access to stock levels, inventory and pricing information, being able to access not only product details, but how much of that product is available in which warehouse, being able to offer specific pricing promotions, either product specific or customer specific, and being able to access the past order history at that customer. So ensuring that they are working from the most recent accurate information is going to help them to reduce errors, reduce refunds that impact your finance team quite dramatically. And also those canceled orders are eliminated because there's a lot less margin for error. If we look at something that's very relevant in today's day and age, where everybody wants to have offline access and be available and have this information in their hands, we're able to give it to them regardless of whether or not there's coverage. So if you picture in your mind's eye perhaps a sales rep that's calling on construction sites, or somebody that's going into warehouses that don't have good coverage, that sales rep would still be able to access all of that critical information we covered, regardless of whether or not they have coverage. So making Skynamo functional all of the time. Once they then move back into an area where there is coverage or they connect to Wi-Fi, they've got the opportunity to then sync the new data that they've captured. so they don't lose any value whilst they're at that customer. If we look at payment details, for instance, and this is something that directly impacts finance teams, is that salespeople are often out there selling to customers that maybe aren't paying or don't have any available credit. Being able to integrate this means that your salesperson, who's often on site at that customer and able to take charge of a face-to-face conversation regarding bad debt, they can see exactly where that customer account is, and it equips them to have that conversation and feed that information back to your finance team timeously. This is something that's becoming more relevant given the current crisis that we're in, where cash flow is more important than ever. What happens with data collection, which is obviously data access is important, but being able to collect data is just as important. If we look at sales teams out there, they're able to now collect critical information with regards to opening new accounts. So those credit applications, they can actually capture all of the relevant information, have the customer sign it, and share that with the finance team while they're still in the field. So processing can begin before they even leave site. And this can now either be fed directly back into your ERP or go through via email for approval. If we look at order processing, we've spoken about orders in the field a couple of times, but what does it actually mean? What it actually means is your team can take accurate orders the first time. So while they're on site and they've got the customer's ear, they can take that order, capture it based on the correct pricing, allocate it to correct warehouses, capture information with regards to delivery dates and times. And there's nobody that needs to now recapture this. So it eliminates not only the delay, but the opportunity for error as well. So that gets pushed directly back into Sage and waits as a sales order for release, meaning that there's less mistakes, less time spent, less admin, and definitely more revenue. So we've got on screen a few customer testimonials, which are great. But what we're going to have today, which I think is even better, is Johan from the Preferred Solutions team is going to take us through their very own testimonial about using Skynamo within their team and the value that it's added to them. So we just like to bring to your attention that Preferred Solutions definitely doesn't fit into that perfect fit that we had spoken about. They don't manufacture, distribute, or wholesale, but they would classify as a B-fit customer. And Johan's going to take you through a little bit more detail about how that looks for them now. Over to you, Johan.
Thanks, Candice, for the introduction. Hi, everyone. Johan from Preferred Solutions. I hope you're all doing well and keeping safe. So this is just my testimonial of how Skynamo has improved our business and lives. And I know Candice just mentioned there that we're not we're a B fit, not exactly an A fit, but I feel we are an A fit because it ticked all our boxes. We moved over to Skynamo about 2-3 months ago, and I only have good things to say. I actually saw on the map they showed earlier that they are going global, and we actually have consultants in UK, Cameroon, and France all using Skynamo. Just to give you a practical example of how we used to work in Preferred Solutions, as most of you know, being our clients, our consultants would arrive at your company, do the job, and then they have this piece of paper which is called a job card, and they completed it by pen, and then you had to sign it off. So that's how we work. Every morning, the consultants would arrive at the office, collect their job cards, and then start going to their clients. The problem with this was they still had to go to the office to collect. So that's time spent to collect their job cards. They go to the client, they finish the job, they complete the job card, and they give it to the client. Sometimes the boss isn't in, or the person that needs to sign off isn't in. So this hard copy was given to that person to hold on to. There's no information feeding back to Preferred Solutions that the job was done or signed off. So the job coordinator is still sitting there blind, not knowing what's happening. Sometimes a job card could get lost, or it could take weeks to get a job card back signed because it's on someone's desk, or it's still in the back of a consultant's car. It's just a tedious process to get that job card back in again. The job coordinator would start phoning the client, the consultant, follow up on the work, because everything was just done on one piece of paper. And as you know, having to phone clients and having to phone job coordinators and following this up can take a while. Once we moved over to Skynamo, we took our whole process and we just moved it into Skynamo. And since using this product, we could actually improve on our processes. So the new process is really easy. Everything is done on the mobile device. The consultant doesn't need to come into the office in the mornings, and they don't have to come to the office once a week or in the evenings to do all their admin. Everything is done in real time. So he just has his mobile Skynamo open with the client. He completes his visit, start visit, end visit. So we've got the time we spent with you. Complete a form that we designed for Preferred Solutions on Skynamo. All the detail needed, what we did there, who we spoke to. You can add the client, the lady that you assisted. And then usually the job coordinator would book a scheduled visit on Skynamo. So when they arrive, most of the admin is done. They just need to change the quote into a sales order now. Once the sales order is done, you can electronically sign it off. So if you're standing with the client, they can sign it off. Once that's signed off, it gets emailed to the client, to our finance, and even to the consultant and all the relevant people in your company. So everyone's got a copy. Everyone knows the job is done. They know the time spent and it was signed off. Even if it wasn't signed off, it's still, you create the sales order and you email it to the relevant people. So there's no more following up if jobs were done. This means that we could actually get our invoices out in the same month that we did the work, which means cash flow has improved. And for Preferred Solutions, obviously this time we were in now, this has been very valuable for us. So I only have good things to say about Skynamo. All right, Candice.
Thank you so much, Johan. I think what really jumped out at me there is that Skynamo has reduced your invoice turnaround time drastically, enabling you to make sure that all jobs done within a month are actually invoiced within that month, increasing your cash flow, which is huge. And we really appreciate and love to hear our customers speaking about us like you just have. So thank you very much for sharing that with us. What I'm going to do is just take you through to the next screen, and I'm going to challenge you. Let's get your finance and sales team working together. The goal is that all of your hard work is reflected throughout your company and carried through in your sales team's actions as well. If you feel like you could benefit from working in a world like this, please reach out. We've got Jenny's details and Alicia, who's our main point of contact for Skynamo at Preferred Solutions. Let them know, and let's set up a detailed use case analysis and a demo specific to your needs as a customer. We're really looking forward to engaging with you and hope that you've got sufficient value out of our session this morning. Thank you so much.